Here we are on a Mac, and this is RQware's download page, which you can get to on their website, rqware.com, and then click on the download. There are two ways to install on the Mac. Let's begin with the first one on the download page here, which is the traditional DMG download, which has a DMG disk image with an installer inside. So that downloads in Chrome here, and if we open that up, we can run the installer package. So there's a README and some other stuff on the right hand side, but this is the installer that you need to worry about. So we'll continue through here past the README, past the license agreement, allowing it to access removable disks. You may or may not see that depending on what you've got mounted on your Mac. And then we just continue through to install, which requires a password. This will install the background process on the Mac and then open up the web admin interface in a browser, pretty much the same as it did on Windows. So on Mac it always prefers Safari, even though I'm using Chrome. So there we go, we're running. You can see the browser is pointing to the loopback address on port 8000, which is where the P5 interface is always available. An additional thing to take care of on the Mac is that in order for P5 to have full access to disks connected to the Mac, storage directly connected to the Mac, you need to go to the System Preferences window, or System Settings as it's now called. Under the Privacy and Security section, there's a section called Full Disk Access, where you can allow certain applications to have access to all the disks connected to the Mac. So we need to add P5 in here. To do that, we're going to press the plus button at the top. I just need to authenticate here. And then we get a way to pick what it is that we want to provide this full disk access permission to. We need to locate P5's main executable in order to add it to the list. The easiest way to do this is to flick back to the Finder and use the Go To Folder option in the Finder, and then in here type in usr/local/aw/bin and hit return, and this will open up a folder separately to the folder that you're going to drag into, which is over here. And in this folder you need to locate the binary which is called NSD, okay, and you need to drag that one into this window over here, so that this is the executable that you're giving full disk access to. Then hit open, and you'll then be able to see NSD listed down here because you just added it, and make sure that it's switched on so that NSD has full disk access. Once you've done that, you're good to go, and your RQware P5 will have disk access on this Mac. So there's an additional step there because Apple's operating systems are protecting you from software having full disk access without you knowing about it. So with that, let's just switch to the download page again, and I will show you how to download the TGZ file. So we'll click New Installation again, and my download menu will now show me this TGZ file. I'm going to open this up in the folder where it's been downloaded to, and here is our TGZ file. And to proceed with this installation, we need to open a terminal window. I'll add that I've just, whilst the recording was paused, I removed the installation of P5 that we just performed on this Mac, so P5 is no longer running on this Mac, so we can install it again using this alternative method. So what follows is going to assume that you know what terminal is and have some experience in how to use it. You maybe also have experience with Linux in order to have this level of knowledge. So the following isn't for the faint-hearted, and you should probably begin by using the first installation method that I showed you. But for completeness, I want to show how this works as well. So in the terminal, I'm going to elevate myself to be the super user. so that I can install P5. My current directory is USR local. I'm going to make a directory called AW and change to the AW directory. So I'm now, print working directory says that I'm now in USR local AW, and I'm going to move the installer file from the downloads folder to dot, which is the current folder. And now if I list files, we can see the TGZ file is now in my current directory. However, important information, on a Mac, if you list with attributes, you'll see that Apple has set a quarantine bit, which means don't trust this file because it's been downloaded from the web. So there's a special command that we use to remove the quarantine bit that looks like this. And we're specifying the name of the installer. So that deletes the quarantine bit. So if I run this command again, you can see it's no longer showing that there's a quarantine on it. And next we're going to use the tar command to unzip, extract the file awpst. And then if we list the files in the directory again, we'll see that we have all of RQware's installation ready to go in this folder. The next step is that we just run the start script, which is /start server. This runs P5 and also sets it up to start when the machine boots, which is something that the graphical installer also does. So whenever your macOS operating system starts up, P5 will be running. So we get the information back that P5 is running, and it provides me with the URLs. And so now we can go to the browser. So if I just go back to Safari, if I refresh this, we can now see that P5 is running, and I'm able to access this login screen again because P5 is running. The things that we had to do to allow P5 to access disks would also apply just the same here. So yeah, basically that's an alternative way to install P5 using the terminal, and as you saw, it doesn't really take any longer, but you need to know a few shell commands to be able to do that. So yeah, on the Mac, I think that's all you need to know. You can always use the stop and start commands in the USR local AW directory to stop and start the P5 installation, whether or not you use the graphical installer or did it in the command line. The software is installed to the same location. The software is exactly the same, it's just a different mechanism for getting it onto the computer, and the start and stop scripts that you can see in this folder can always be run from the command line to stop and start P5.